Leo Mujica writes, "Hey AMC Movie Talk, love your show. Keep the movie news coming. I have noticed that of all the major movie studios, Universal is the only one without any superhero properties from the big two, DC or Marvel. My question is, since WB owns all of the DC properties, should they sell the film rights to some of their characters to Universal? I know WB would never sell the rights to their big name characters, but what about some of their lesser known properties? Would Universal even be interested in buying them? What are your thoughts?"
You know what? It's a really good question, because you're right. Universal is one of these major studios that is not in the superhero game. And they should be, and they should try to find a way. Marvel is no longer seems to be in the business of selling the rights to their characters. They're more in the business now of trying to reacquire the rights to their characters, since they got Daredevil back, and I think they got Ghost Rider back from Sony. I'm not 100% sure about that.
Oh, they did. Yeah.
Whether they're going to do anything with these characters in the future, I don't really know yet. But here's the thing. DC now has a plan. For the first time in 10 years, they actually seem to have a plan about where they want to go with their universe, right? So who are they going to be willing to sell? Are they going to be willing to sell off the rights to Green Lantern? I don't think so. Are they going to be willing to sell off the rights to Wonder Woman? I really don't think so. Are they going to be willing to sell off Superman? Not a chance in hell. So who are they going to be willing to sell? Huntress. Okay, they're willing to sell off Huntress. Is Universal really going to be interested in putting up the money to buy the rights and produce a feature-length series on Huntress? It just, in theory, it's great, because I'd like to see more studios have these properties. But studios, well, they're not in the business of trying to screw each other over completely all the time. They're also not in the business of, hey, how can I help that other guy out? How can we help Universal? They need a superhero property. Let's give them Martian Manhunter or something. I just don't see it happening. Dennis, am I wrong? Could something like that happen?
No, I don't see it, because even though Universal probably wants to get in the superhero game because it seems very, very profitable, DC is not going, even the lesser characters, they're not going to sell them. Because if you think about Marvel, the reason why some of their characters are at other studios is because Marvel at a time was, they were going bankrupt. Yeah, they're going bankrupt, and they were selling off their properties dirt cheap. And this is before like any of the movies had hit really big, and they would have loved to never have done that. They would have loved to have just kept everything, and that all the Marvel movies were actually Marvel Studio movies.
And that's why we see X-Men at Fox. That's why we see Fantastic Four at Fox. Why we see Spider-Man at Sony. They're praying for like something to happen where they can get those properties please
back.
let Sony go out of business.
Exactly.
Yeah. Shep?
I think it would be advantageous for Warner Brothers DC to do some kind of a joint venture with Universal, because what you just mentioned, next year we're going to have an X-Men movie, we're going to have a Fantastic Four movie, we're going to have Avengers, we have Spider-Man. It's because all these different studios have the rights to Marvel characters. So we as fans get to see 8 Marvel movies next year, and we have to wait 2 years to see 1 DC movie.
Right.
So maybe DC would get it, or Warner Brothers would like do a split thing. We'll split the money. Here's the Creeper and Dr. Fate and Sandman. Bust out, you know? Like give them not the top tier, because you're going to do Justice League. Keep all those guys and their ancillary villains. But DC Universe is vast, and there's a lot of characters that can be isolated and have their own little universe at Universal.
Let me ask you this question. You're the president, CEO, head honcho of Universal Pictures. Are you willing to put up a bunch of money and enter into a deal like that for Sandman?
Yes.
You are?
Without a doubt.
Okay. So you think it could be a box office hit?
Sandman would be an incredible hit, and it's like legions of fans.
If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to AMC Movie News on YouTube. It's free and a great way to stay updated with all the latest movie news, and check out our daily show, AMC Movie Talk. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter to stay in the loop for our special prizes, giveaways, and contests.